The CX-5 was the very first model of the Mazda brand to incorporate the Kodo design language, a design philosophy that aims to capture the dynamic natural beauty of a vehicle's appearance, emphasizing sleek lines, sculpted surfaces, and a sense of motion even if the car is stationary. Now, the SkyActiv technology that gives a perfect combi of fuel efficiency and performance was first used in this car, and as they say, the rest is history. A history that will be undertaking in this plane with the code automobile, with its captain being Lieutenant General Nikarero Masete, and the plane is departing from Nairobi, Kenya, all the way to wherever you're watching us from, and it's full of confidence in motion. Now, the Mazda CX-5 made its debut back in 2012, and it has undergone 2 generations of production. As you can see clearly on my right, this is the first generation of the Mazda CX-5, known as the KE, and this here on my left is the second generation of the Mazda CX-5 that was designated as the KF. Now, the Mazda CX-5 comes with 3 engine options. The first engine option is a 2.0 liter SkyActiv G petrol, and also we do have a 2.5 liter SkyActiv G petrol, and lastly we do have a 2.2 liter SkyActiv D, that is standing for diesel. Now, this car is mated to either a 6-speed manual transmission and also a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, when it comes to the fuel efficiency of between the petrol-driven Mazda CX-5 and the diesel-driven Mazda CX-5, of course, it goes without saying the diesel variants will give you a stellar fuel economy as opposed to its petrol variants. But when it comes to the longevity, the reliability of either the petrol or diesel drive engines, here in Kenya, majority of people will love to go with the diesel engines because of its performance and speed, but because of its reliability issues and prone to damages, petrol variants are considered the best when it comes to driving here in Kenya. Now, number one, the main problems that the diesel variants have been encountering is likely things to do with the gasket, whereby the damaging of the head gasket may lead to the mixture of oil and coolant, hence causing problems to the engine. That's why many people who have the Mazda CX-5 diesel-driven cars have been experiencing a lot of faults here and there because of the gasket issue, which is likely to be caused by faulty radiator caps and of course the type of diesel we are using here in Kenya. Now, when it comes to the cars we are importing here in Kenya, of course, a number of car dealers, they do import their cars from abroad, and when you take a look at the tropicalization of those, where those cars have been manufactured abroad, they have been tropicalized. But when it comes here to Kenya, it does not meet the driving conditions and the weather here in Kenya. For instance, the diesel we are using here in Kenya has a high concentration of sulfur as compared to the diesel that is being used abroad, which has low concentration of sulfur. So those are some of the things you need to consider when you're buying a Mazda CX-5 whether it's diesel driven or petrol driven. Now, of course, when it comes to the mileage of this car, as I've said it earlier, the diesel variant over here will give you good mileage as compared to the petrol variant over here. Now, one thing I do like about the diesel variant is that it comes with a turbocharger, a sequential turbocharger, whereby it has a small turbocharger that comes into play during low rev per low RPM, and also it has a bigger charger that works in conjunction with the smaller charger at high RPM. That's why I'll prefer to go with the diesel variant, because of its thrilling driving experience, and also it is full of zest, and anybody who has an interest in performance car, then the better variant to go with is diesel over petrol at any given time. Now, when it comes to the transmission system, the CX-5 compared to its competitors, the likes of the Subaru Forester, the Toyota RAV4, the Hyundai Tucson, I do love its transmission system because it is automatic, hence it gives you an engaging driving experience, unlike Pole Sana to Subaru, unlike the Subaru Forester, which comes with a CVT transmission, that is a continuously variable transmission. Of course, it does its work very well, it's fuel efficient, but as a driver who is after performance and power, I will not feel very good, or rather how the dynamics of driving the Subaru Forester as compared to the Mazda CX-5, which comes with an automatic engine. So great people, when buying the CX-5, you need to be very thorough and keen as to whether you want to go with the petrol variant or you want to go with the diesel variant. Something else to note before I forget is in regards to where you are fueling your cars, that is the diesel variants, because you have to fuel a car using clean diesel, because if you use dirty diesel, because I do know we have some culprits in our country that sell dirty diesel. If you use dirty diesel, they are likely to clog the nozzles, hence causing reliability problems to your engine, and that is something you want to avoid at any given time, because it will cost you a lot of money to repair or even purchase a new engine and also the gearbox. So great people, as I said earlier on, this is the first generation of the Mazda CX-5, and this here is the second generation of the Mazda CX-5, and we want to take a look at the impact of the Kodo design philosophy. As you can see very well, the exterior of the two cars, they do differ in terms of appearance and also in terms of aerodynamics. So great people, let's take a look at the exterior design of the first generation Mazda CX-5 and the second generation Mazda CX-5. So great people, the Kodo design language is a design philosophy that is a game changer when it came to the production of the Mazda CX-5, and it did change the whole scenario of how vehicles were being produced in the country. Now, as you can see on my right, we do have the first generation of the Mazda CX-5, and here we do have the second generation of the Mazda CX-5. Now, its exterior design, as you can see, the grille is kind of different compared to the second generation, and everything about the first and the second generation is that the first generation had quite bigger kind of features, but the second generation did simplify it to be more of slim and attractive, hence improving the aerodynamics. Now at the front pressure, of course, we do have the chrome accented grille that bears the Mazda emblem that is used to assert its supremacy wherever it traverses. Looking at the grille of the new generation, or rather the second generation of the Mazda CX-5, it has kind of a honeycomb-like grille, black accents of course that do surround it, and also the Mazda emblem that is fitted or rather adorned on the grille. Now the headlights The 2017, or rather the first generation headlights of the Mazda CX-5 are kind of big and angular, and of course they don't have LED daytime running lights. But when you take a look at the second generation, they do have LED daytime running lights that lend it a modern and upscale appearance, and also the headlights are very sleek and angular at the same time. Now, at the lower fascia of both the first and the second generation of the Mazda CX-5, they do have fog lights that come in very handy, especially when you're driving in dusty areas or mist-prone areas. And also, they do have air vents that play a big role in cooling the radiator, which in turn cools the engine. So, great people, that is a whole appearance, or rather the difference between the first generation and the second generation of the Mazda CX-5. The whole bit in general, in summary, is that the first generation has kind of a big features, but the second generation has slim features that make it very attractive and also improves aerodynamics, which plays a big role in getting a high mileage, or rather a stellar fuel economy. Similar to the side profile, they do have side skirts that help prevent this car from, of course, experiencing any kind of damage when traversing in moderate off-road terrains. This car, because of its suspension system that prioritizes comfort over handling, it is not advisable to drive it in difficult off-road terrains, but you can just drive it on moderate off-road terrains, as it has enough ground clearance of about 7.6 inches, and its approach and departure angles are very good, and they can clear inclined and reclined surfaces, of course without the risk of damaging its body components. The rear end also shares the similar fascia. Of course, the taillights of the first generation are kind of big as compared to the taillights of the second generation, which are LED, and they are very slim and angular at the same time. Of course, both their tailgates they're electronically driven, and they come in very handy, especially when your hands are full of cargo and you want to access the boot area. So great people, that is all about the exterior design of the first generation of the Mazda CX-5 and the second generation of the Mazda CX-5, which of course, as you can see with their very own eyes, has undergone a numerous uplift to be what it is today. So anytime, I know, even if it was up to you to decide which kind of generation you'll go with, of course majority of you people will go with the second generation of the Mazda CX-5. So the differences does not end here at the exterior design, but also when you go to the interior, you do tend to find that the second generation has undergone numerous facelifts that changes it, or rather as compared to the first iteration, which has modest features. And let's take a look at the interior so you can see with your very own eyes what I'm talking about. Yeah, so great people, I'm seated in the interior of the first generation, that is KE of the Mazda CX-5. And when it comes to the legroom and headroom, I do have ample space. And also the seats, they are power adjustable. You can recline it to match a desired preference. The steering wheel has some steering wheel controls in regards to whether you want to increase the volume or decrease, or rather when you want to pick a call from whoever who is calling you, whether you are driving, it's very convenient. And also it is power assisted, hence it adapts very well to road curvature. Now this car also has 6-speed automatic transmission, but also has an option. It does have an option of paddle shifters, which give you a thrilling driving experience. And one thing I like this car compared to its competitors, that is the Subaru Forester and the Toyota RAV4 and the Hyundai Tucson, Honda CR-V is that its automatic transmission gives you a very good driving experience that is full of thrill and zest. Now the infotainment system, it's very good, it's up to date. The only thing is that it has no connectivity to Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but it has very good space and can. I don't know if it is touchable. No, yes, it is touchable. No, it ain't. It's not touchable, but it's very good looking, and the dashboard has some plastic touch on it that gives it a premium feel, and also some kind of chrome embellishments that is on the dashboard and also at the opening of the front doors. Now, when it comes to the compartment storages, we do have a center console, 2 cup holders, door pockets, and a glove box compartment. Now, the first generation of the Mazda CX-5 does not have dual air conditioner. Only the front passengers have an access to an air conditioner, but the rear passengers do not have an access to the air conditioner. Now, the second row also has ample space, sufficient knee room and headroom that can accommodate also taller passengers. And also, when it comes to its boot space, it can hold small and medium-sized freights. But when it comes to it comparing it with other rivals in the category of the compact SUV, it does not have a spacious boot space compared to the likes of the Subaru Forester or the Hyundai Tucson or the Toyota RAV4. Now, that is what entails in the first generation of the Mazda CX-5, and I'm pretty sure when you go to see the second generation of the Mazda CX-5, you'll notice a huge difference in terms of the luxury fittings and the premium feel. For it underwent a facelift to be what it is right now. So let's get into the inside or the interior of the KF, that is the second generation of the Mazda CX-5. Yes, so great people, I'm seated in the second row of the KF, the second or rather the new generation of the Mazda CX-5, and I can tell you it has a major difference when compared to the first generation. First of all, the touchscreen, the infotainment screen is kind of quite bigger in terms of inches compared to the first generation, and it pops in and out from the dashboard. And also the dashboard has been redesigned to accommodate big air vents of the AC. Now, one thing about the air condition as opposed to the first generation, where it was only benefiting the first passengers in the first row, the new generation, that is the KF of the Mazda CX-5, has a dual air conditioner, whereby not only the first not only the people seated in the first row do benefit from the dual zone climate control, but also the guys seated in the rear will also have access to good air conditioning. Now, the steering wheel, of course, it's power assisted, but as compared to the first generation, this one does not have paddle shifters, but the first generation did have paddle shifters. Now, of course, this is a 6-speed automatic transmission that gives you a thrilling driving experience that is full of zest, especially when you're a person who is after performance and pure performance. Now, the seats, of course, it is power adjustable, and the front seats are heated. So kama unaendesha huko Limuru ama huko Engineer penye kuna baridi huko Kumuranga huko ndani, this car will be very ideal for you because the seats are heated, and of course they can be adjusted automatically, or rather they are power adjusted, and they can accommodate a desired posture depending on the owner's preference. And unfortunately, we don't have a power sunroof, which I think it could come in very handy in such kind of a car, since it has a premium feel, it is full of luxury fittings, and having a sunroof could complete its top-notch performance in the compact SUV category. Now, the compartment storages are similar to the first generation. We do have a center console. That is, when you open the center console, you do have a 12-volt power outlet that can be used to charge your mobile phones, whether you are using iPhone or Android, it doesn't matter, it will still charge it. And of course it has a USB port connectivity. Now when it comes to the storage compartments, we do have a glove box compartments and also the door panel storage that can be used to hold your gears, whether it's soft drinks, beverages, paperwork, or keyfobs, just giving you, or rather it is intended to improve your ride comfort. The second row seat, of course, have sufficient knee room and headroom. If you're a taller passenger, you don't need to be worried that you might feel crampy or uncomfortable while riding in this car. Of course, its practicality compared to other compact SUVs in the category of category this car seats, of course, its boot space is not very spacious, but it is wide enough, it's big enough to hold a cargo of different freight. So great people, that is the comparison of the first generation interior and of the second generation interior of the Mazda CX-5. So great people, we've come to the end of today's episode of Automobile. We are reviewing the first generation and the second generation of the Mazda CX-5, and I do believe now from the review we have conducted today, you now know the differences, the similarities, and of course the reliability when it comes to the diesel and the petrol-driven engines. My name is Abel Nekaro Masete. See you some other time. God bless. Peace. This is Automobile. We normally say it's all about confidence in motion.